Hawks had absolutely no answer for Jalen Brunson in that first quarter. 19 points. That's absolutely not something that can happen again. They do need to shut down Brunson defensively. I was hoping to see Dyson Daniels be that guy on defense. It doesn't look like that is the game plan. They were switching a lot, Atlanta, which does work. They do have the personnel defensively to do that. They have a lot of long athletic wings, which is an asset. But again, matched up against New York, they do share a lot of the same characteristics. And so defensively, Atlanta really just has to lock in, not give up the easy points they were yesterday. Tons of transition baskets for New York. That's the game Atlanta wants to play. They absolutely can't let their opponent play it, especially if they themselves are not capitalizing on it. On the other end of the game, we had Towns with a pretty dominant fourth quarter. He really is one of the more interesting players in the league when it comes to the playoffs, especially. Sometimes he dominates, sometimes he's so passive. It seems like there's only four guys on the floor for New York. That is just all part of the Karl Anthony Towns experience. But so far in this series, it does look like he knows what he's doing, knows what he wants to do. And again, in that fourth quarter, he really was aggressive and in getting his shots up, which is something that the Knicks need from him as the secondary offensive engine behind Brunson, especially as Brunson cooled off after that blazing start to the game. If Atlanta wants to stand a chance in this series, they need to be getting out in transition, getting some easy baskets. The Knicks took that advantage from them in game one. That absolutely cannot happen again. Even if they do go down 2-0 heading back to Atlanta, they absolutely cannot lose in the same way. It needs to be a much closer fought game. Atlanta needs to get back to their roots, get back to the fundamentals that allowed them to be so hot to end the season off. In watching this game, it is obvious that the Hawks don't have much playoff experience. CJ McCollum is the only Hawks starter with playoff experience as a starter. And that really does show through. He was the only starter that shot the ball efficiently at all. And he really did look like he had been there before, knew what he was doing, knew what he wanted to do. That is an issue for the Hawks. They need to get their legs under them quickly because if they go down 2-0, it is going to be a very tough obstacle to surmount if they hope to come back. And even then, it would likely go to 7, which is not necessarily something you want a game 7 in a hostile Madison Square Garden environment. The Knicks did a great job of dictating the pace of play, and along with that came getting to the free throw line. That's something that Atlanta could be doing way better. It is notoriously easy to draw fouls on Karl Anthony Towns, and if you're able to put him in foul trouble, that means Mitchell Robinson comes in, and he just doesn't have the lateral quickness to keep up with a lot of Atlanta's wings. So that is something that Atlanta could be exploiting, as well as putting Jalen Brunson into more actions. Really just attacking those two guys on defense, going after Anunoby, Hart, Bridges. That's going to be a death sentence. Those guys are all elite defenders. You have to take advantage of what you can, look for an easy basket however you can get it. The Knicks did a very good job defensively of hiding Brunson, minimizing Atlanta's ability to exploit that matchup, and Towns had a pretty solid defensive game himself. Foul trouble is always going to be a question with him, but with the exception of that one foul against Kuminga, he did mostly control himself. He was never in real danger of picking up many fouls, so that's something they need from him moving forwards. As long as Cat can stay out of foul trouble defensively, he is going to be their best option as the big man. Mitchell Robinson, great on the offensive end, great in spurts on defense, but he doesn't have that stamina to really play those long minutes that the playoffs would require if Cat did get in some foul trouble. The next game is not necessarily a must-win for Atlanta. If they go down 2-0, though, they do have to tie the series back up 2-2. Going down 3-1 would be a death sentence heading back to MSG. Again, especially with the lack of playoff experience Atlanta's players have under their belts. So I do think that the Knicks take the next game. I anticipate Atlanta stealing one game at home, but I do think that this series is likely over in 6 unless Atlanta can really showcase the offensive firepower that made them such a great team to end the season.